All right. Maybe you can tell me about. I don't know what this means. RVD is a effing Chad. Watching him fight Big Show in ECW is so badass. Is Chad a term for something that I don't know?
It is, but I don't know what it means. I've heard
Yeah,
it before.
like I've heard Chad almost be the thing that they call a Karen, but that doesn't make sense in this regard. So I don't know what the hell that means. How'd you like working with Big Show?
I loved working with Big Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a self-made story that is. Anytime he's wrestling anybody, he's the big guy. He's the giant. It's the David and Goliath. Um, that you have to overcome. It's obvious. It's just right there in their face. How are you going to wrestle this giant? What are you going to do that is going to work? And how are you going to stay away from him getting a hold of you? And I enjoyed that. I used to like running around the ring and forcing him to really catch me, try and blow him up, He got better at that quick, though. It made it harder when I started wrestling every night. But I like him, and had some great matches with him, and I like the idea of let's pick a leg and start chopping at it, and try to use some psychology here to bring him down to his knees so he's my size. I like doing the jumping Superman punch on him. That was before the other guys were doing it, by the way. I punch him, jump up and punch him. And Sabu was like, damn, I wish I would have thought of that. That just made sense. And, I remember one particular time, the hardcore match, because this would be probably the only time I used the fire extinguisher. But I used to squirt him with the fire extinguisher, and he put the chair up to block the fire extinguisher spray, and then he got a Van Daminator, for his
awesome.
Yeah, so I always like being able to use the stuff wisely if it's there and try to make sense out of it. And normally you wouldn't have a fire extinguisher, or believe it or not, a kitchen sink underneath the ring normally.
No, you don't find that stuff there.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. Like those storytelling elements go into the play with that, because my brother did a special episode of the Jake the Snake podcast with Raven, and Raven was talking about how that's such an important aspect of making a hardcore match stand out more, is utilizing it in different manners to make it make sense, and having like a fire extinguisher against somebody like the Big Show, but then him shielding it with the chair. It's like cool elements that you're adding to make those hardcore matches, not just, hey, I'm just fucking smacking somebody with a chair over and over, or like, here's thumbtacks. It's just like, there's those other elements. I think
because overall, when it comes to, like, say, the death matches, which is kind of, I guess, what hardcore matches have become, it seems.
Yeah, for a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
For a lot of it. But they will probably always have the reputation of being storyless, pointless, and just obligatory violence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of times they are, and a lot of times they are for people that don't have that much talent as wrestlers to call themselves wrestlers, And I know a lot of people will take offense to that, and there's a lot of fans of death matches. But even then, I mean, is there a difference between a good death match and a bad death match? I would hope there's a difference. I don't know.
I can't really. I mean, there's some that I've been kind of entertained by, but honestly, like my threshold for that kind of stuff is like, hey, I can see one match and then I'm good for like a year. I don't need to see another one for a while. It's just like, I've got my fill, and that was interesting, but I don't need to see it again for a while. Mm-hmm. So different strokes for different folks, I guess. But I like the storytelling aspects that come with hardcore matches that kind of make it fun. So, all right.
And a lot of what I've seen from the death matches, the story is who's going to get to that staple gun first.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it too. Yeah. But I look back at like when Terry Funk fought Anita in the exploding C4 match and stuff like that in '94. But they made the story about like, I don't want to touch that barbed wire. Like I don't want to get. And they
Even
made
get
the
thrown
story.
into the ropes, like stopping before you even get to
Yeah, that was, you saw the fear in both of them. They didn't want to get entered like into that barbed wire.